Have you ever felt a presence in the woods, a feeling that you're not alone? I'm here to tell you a story that goes beyond spooky campfire tales. This is a true story, my story about an encounter that changed my life forever. A story of forgiveness, unexpected love, and finding a family in the most unlikely of places. It all started 15 years ago. My father was a logger, a man who saw the forest as a resource, something to be conquered. He taught me everything he knew, but there was a darkness in him, a temper that cast a long shadow over our lives. One afternoon, deep in the old-growth forests of the Pacific Northwest, that temper exploded. An argument, fueled by years of resentment, ended with him leaving me stranded miles from anywhere, with nothing but the clothes on my back and the echoing silence of the woods. Days blurred into a nightmare of survival. I was lost, hungry, and terrified. The forest I once knew as a playground had become a menacing labyrinth. I foraged for berries, drank from streams, and huddled under fallen logs at night, listening to the symphony of unfamiliar sounds. Hope was a dying ember. I was just a boy, alone and convinced I was going to die out there. Then, one evening, as dusk painted the sky in shades of purple and orange, I heard a sound that wasn't a bear or a cougar. It was a soft whistle, melodic and inquisitive. I froze. Peeking through the ferns, I saw him, a giant, covered in dark, matted hair, standing silhouetted against the fading light. He was massive, easily 8 feet tall, his sheer scale both terrifying and awe-inspiring. This was it. The creature of legend, Bigfoot. My heart hammered against my ribs. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but I was paralyzed. The creature just watched me, its deep-set eyes filled not with malice, but with a profound curiosity. He took a slow, deliberate step closer, and then another. He made a low, rumbling sound, a vocalization that vibrated deep in my chest. It felt less like a threat and more like a question. Gathering every ounce of courage I had, I didn't run. Instead, I just sat there, tears streaming down my face, a mix of fear and sheer exhaustion. The giant stopped about 20 feet away and sat down, mirroring my posture. For what felt like an eternity, we just looked at each other across the small clearing. In that moment, a silent understanding passed between us. I wasn't prey. I was just a lost child. That night, he stayed nearby. I could hear his soft movements, the occasional snap of a twig, a comforting presence in the suffocating darkness. The next morning, I woke to find a pile of edible roots and a piece of honeycomb left near my makeshift shelter. He was taking care of me. For weeks, this became our routine. My initial terror gave way to a cautious trust, which blossomed into a strange and beautiful friendship. I named him Kale, a name that just felt right. He would lead me to fresh water, show me which plants were safe to eat, and his presence kept other predators at bay. He communicated through a complex series of whistles, clicks, and deep guttural sounds. I started to understand him, not with words, but with a feeling, an intuition. I learned he wasn't alone. One day, he led me to a hidden valley, a place untouched by time. There I met his family, a female, smaller and more slender, whom I called Elara, and a young one, full of playful energy. They were a family unit, a clan. They accepted me. I was no longer a lost boy. I was part of their world. Elara would groom my hair with surprising gentleness, and the little one would try to mimic my movements, tumbling through the undergrowth in a clumsy dance. They taught me the secrets of the forest, the language of the birds, the patterns of the seasons, the rhythm of a life lived in harmony with nature. I learned more in those months with them than in all my years with my father. I found love, acceptance, and a sense of belonging I had never known, but I knew I couldn't stay forever. I was human. One morning, I woke up with a heavy heart, knowing it was time to go back. I tried to explain it to Kale, my voice thick with emotion. He seemed to understand. He led me for 2 days, taking me to the edge of the forest, to a trail I recognized. Before we parted, he placed a massive hand on my shoulder. His touch was gentle, a gesture of farewell. Looking into his ancient, wise eyes, I saw a deep sadness, but also an understanding. He let me go. When I finally stumbled out of the woods and was found, my story was dismissed as the wild fantasy of a traumatized kid. They said I'd hallucinated it all, but I knew the truth. The experience had reshaped me. The anger I held for my father had dissolved, replaced by a profound sense of peace and forgiveness. He had abandoned me, but in doing so, he had inadvertently given me the greatest gift of my life. I never saw my father again. He left town shortly after I was found. But I no longer needed his approval or his love. I had found a different kind of family, a family of giants who had shown me the true meaning of compassion. Years have passed. I'm a man now, a biologist. I've dedicated my life to studying and protecting the wilderness, these sacred places that hold secrets we can barely comprehend. I've never spoken of this publicly until now. Why now? Because the world needs to know that there is more to this life than what we can see and prove. There is magic in the wild, and there are beings who walk among us, quietly, peacefully. I still go back to those woods. I haven't seen Kale and his family again, but sometimes, on a quiet evening, I'll hear a familiar, melodic whistle echoing through the trees, and I'll whistle back, a greeting, a thank you, a promise that their secret is safe with me. This is my story, a testament to the fact that family isn't always blood. It's about who walks with you when you are lost and helps you find your way home. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, please consider sharing it. The more we open our minds to the mysteries of our world, the better we can protect it. Take care and always listen to the whispers among the giants.